Welcome back to the cellar. It's been a second since we've done a video trying to get back into it here. We're with Tony today. He's one of our tobacconists here at the cellar. We're going to do a little 101 video on kind of just the basics of how to smoke a cigar, from cut and light to ash and etiquette. So just kind of a general video so that you can all get a feel for, you know, cigar smoking etiquette and what this place is with cigars. So this is Tony. Everyone say hello.
As he just said, my name is Tony. I am one of the tobacconists here. You're going to see either my face or Mike. Bigger guy, kind of a huge mane going on.
Good hat.
Good hang too. Good hang as well. But yeah, let's hop in the humidor and see what we got. Okay, so you enter the humidor. I will be actually hopping in here with you, guiding you through the process. The biggest thing I could say is to ask questions. Feel free. I know cigar lounges and cigars in itself particularly can be really intimidating, but feel free to ask. Especially here at the Cigar Cellar, we try to cater the experience to you because we don't want to set you up with a bad cigar. We want to pair it up with the right food, the right drink, everything we want to be paired perfectly. And that is my and Michael's expertise, so again, ask questions. But for myself today, I'm going to go with this Liga Bravada Dirty Rat. And yeah, show you guys how to cut it, how to light it, and all of that nice 101 good stuff. All right, so let us sit down. Smell that coffee. Oh, that is amazing. Okay, cool. So we got our coffee, we got our cigar. Let us get it cut and lit here. So there's many ways to cut and light a cigar. There's the V cut, which I can show you right here. Cuts a V into your stick, makes that shape right there. There's also the punch, but for all intents and purposes for this video, we're gonna keep it very basic. The most common cut there is a straight cut. This is a guillotine. It'll just chop the top of the cap right there. You can see this might look a little different from your cigar. This has like a little pigtail tip to it, but for the most part, they're gonna be rounded caps like you can kind of see right here at the top of the Dirty Rat. And all you want to do with your straight cut is just get a little bit of that cap off right there. Not too much, just enough, right? You can see that cut right there, very thin, very fine. You can see all the filler tobacco right there in the cigar. And if you want, take a little pull on the cigar. A cold draw is what they call it, just to make sure that there is airflow coming through the bottom of the cigar, and there is here. So now, let us get this lit. So I've got my lighter. And what we're doing right now is called toasting, okay? So we're not putting it directly on the bottom of the cigar because then you want to, you know, you're going to burn and really char that tobacco too fast. This is just lightly toasting it like you would a marshmallow, right? And you're just kind of hitting the bottom of the flame with the bottom of your cigar here at the very end on the foot. And once you've got that nice and toasted, just activating that tobacco a little bit. Now we're going to come in and light it full process. But rotation is key. As you saw with me, I was lighting it in a circle and also kind of rotating my cigar. You just want to make sure that the cigar is evenly lit on the bottom foot. You see that right there? That ash, all white on the bottom of the foot. If you want, you can blow on the end of it, just to make sure that it is all properly lit, because that is the biggest thing when you're smoking a cigar. You want it to burn evenly, and when you're first lighting your cigar, this is like the first and, technically the second step, but it's like one of the most important ones, because this is going to affect just how the airflow and the taste of the cigar is going to be through and through. All right, yeah, and that is burning evenly. It's a great smoke. Now, right here, we've got our cigar cut, we've lit it up. The biggest thing is just slow is smooth, smooth is fast, right? I think that's how the terminology goes. But you're wanting to take smooth, slow draws on the cigar because you don't want to overheat it, right? You're going to activate that nicotine in the tobacco, and it's going to be a real big head rush. And also with the fuller body cigar like this one, it can kind of make you a little queasy if we haven't had anything in the stomach just yet. So a smooth pull on the cigar, just getting the smoke in there, kind of like wine hitting the palate. And then if you want, you could even chew on your smoke just to kind of rotate it in your mouth to kind of just let it hit all sides, whether it's the roof, the tongue, just so you can taste all of that smoke quality that's in there. So.
Now, do you have a personal preference on lighting a stick? Are there other ways people can use to light a stick? Or, because I've heard there's a few ways, right?
That's a good question, Jim. So, yes. As you saw right here, we took basic butane torch, right? We touched it up a little bit at the bottom, we toasted it, and we finally drew on it enough to get a pull. But there are many ways, just like cutting a cigar, there's many ways to light a cigar. You have matches, of course, probably the most old school. Then you have, like the purists like to do, they take a cedar spill. So cedar, most commonly used with cigars as far as wood, whether it's the cigar boxes that the cigars are contained inside, the lining of a humidor. So cedar has a great smell to it, also great burn quality to it as well, that a lot of people, because it's so much associated with cigars, will burn a cedar spill, which is basically like a chip of the cedar, and like a match, they will burn the end of the, or light the end of their cigar as well. And you have soft flame, you have a hard flame. Honestly, the preference for me is a torch because it's quick and easy, it's wind resistant, but honestly it's your smoke. So at the end of the day, you enjoy it how you want to. I don't think any one of those methods, whether or not you're using a match, a cedar spill, or a torch, will set you off wrong. It's just a matter of how you like to enjoy this. Whether or not you're sipping it with coffee or wine, entirely up to you. Okay, so you saw me light the cigar with your butane torch right here, but like talking about how to cut the cigar, there's many ways to light it as well. This, of course, is a cedar spill. You'll actually find something like this in a box itself, but oftentimes when we say cedar spill, what we mean is a spill of cedar, just a nice little chip, if you will, from a box or from a box cover like that is, and you can just take a flame to the bottom of the cedar spill, and instead of using a torch and doing what I did, you can take the spill and just the same thing. Right? Now, why that would be a method to go, if you're a purist out there, right? Butane does a great job as far as the chemical output being very minimal. But like I said, if you're a purist, with the cedar spill, you're mitigating that chemical output, by infinity. I mean, you're really making it just a burn from the fire to the wood, and no gas is involved. So you could see why some people would rather that than, rolling around with a Zippo or a butane lighter. So either way, we are lit. This is smoking great, by the way. What I have right here, this is a more of a full body cigar. So I'm pairing it today with a nice coffee here. A lot of caramel, vanilla notes in this that really just kind of rounds out the flavor of this full body dirty rat that we have in my hands right now. And when you're looking for pairing a cigar, again, like I said in the humidor, feel free to ask questions. That is what we are here for. That's what we love to do. But what you really want to do is just find something that is going to complement each other. You don't want to necessarily compete with the two tastes, because then you're not going to enjoy the scotch or the cigar or the food, right? You're wanting things that are just going to assist one another when it comes to your experience here. So this cigar gives me a lot of flavors around the mouthfeel. So a coffee like I have right here is perfect. You can even do a lighter beer, even working your way up towards a stout, but you're looking for notes that are going to be consistent. This way you know what you're tasting before you introduce the cigar, and vice versa, right? You want to know what you're tasting of the cigar before you introduce the drink. And by doing that, when you mix them, you'll be able to say, okay, this is enhancing the flavor of the cigar, or the flavor of the wine, or the flavor of the bourbon, right? So feel free to ask a bartender, feel free to ask myself or Michael the tobacconist. We'll definitely set you right when it comes to making sure that you have the perfect pairing, not only just for your meal, but for your cigar and your beverage in hand. All right, so we are coming up on about 5 to 10 minutes here of me smoking a cigar. You can see the ash building up right now at the foot of it. This is actually a great way to kind of just check the quality of the smoke and the burn. You want to make sure that it is all even, like I mentioned at the top when you're first toasting your cigar, because this right here is the most important step. You want this to burn evenly because that is how you taste all of those wonderful flavors that the cigar has to offer. If you are starting to notice a burning uneven on the top side or the bottom, or like a canoe effect, picture you drinking the milk in this coffee without all the froth and the caramel and the coffee beans in there, right? It's not going to taste the same, and that is basically the same concept here when it comes to the cigar. A good rule of thumb, depending on the size of your stick, but on average 1 to 2 puffs every minute is a good rule of thumb as far as how often you should be pulling on your cigar. Now, of course, you're gonna know more when you are smoking your cigar as far as how quickly or slowly it is burning, because you might be able to, be flexible with that amount per minute, but really it's just, you're nursing this, you're babysitting it, and just making sure that, again, it burns all the way evenly, because if you have to put it out too often, and the relighting process may not give you that same smoke output that you first had when you lit it up. But in the event that you do have to put out your cigar or relight it, that is totally fine. It happens all the time. You gotta go to the bathroom, you're eating, whatever. You really just wanna let your cigar rest just like this. A lot of people think it's similar to cigarettes where you just mash out the ash. That is not what you want to do, especially if you have neighbors to your left and your right. That ash will go everywhere, right? So it is totally fine and respectable to just let your cigar rest and sit there at the end of an ashtray and let it go out on its own. And the reason for that is because, again, that ash buildup and the burning quality. When you pick back up your cigar, even if you have to relight it, you want to make sure you're doing it at an even pace, all right, on an even scale. So having this ash right here, on another note, ash is your friend, right? We're not, you see I'm not dabbing this ash out, I'm not mashing it in the ashtray as I build it up. Ash is your friend, because the ash, as it grows while you're smoking it down, it kind of actually creates a cooler smoke, right? You're not burning it as hot. And when you have that coolness smoke, you're able to really taste all the subtle nuances that are compact in this cigar, versus if you're burning it hot, picture you burning your eggs a little too quickly, right? You're gonna ruin the egg. You want it to be an even, steady pace so you can unlock all those flavors that the cigar has to offer. All right, so you see, took a quick break. The ash right there is stale. It's not drawing any more of a pull, so we wouldn't need to relight this. So you're just gonna gently roll off the ash just like that, boom. And then for retouching it, similar process. Want to again retouch the areas that are not hit, and then and that is smoking. All right, and we're back to it just like that. No problem at all if it goes out on you. Just quickly relight it and good to go. A lot of lounges have somewhat of a dress code that is more so for the environment that you're kind of smoking in, right? This is, let's be real, a classy establishment, right? You have amazing cocktails, amazing food, amazing cigars, and a lot of lounges like to look the part. And what does that mean, really? It's nothing serious. If you want to dress the nines, by all means, I know people that do it, and they look like they're going to a wedding. And if that is you, caps off to you. But speaking of caps, a fedora, just no ballpark caps, ball caps, logos like that. You really want to keep it more classy if you're going to wear a hat. But everything else, look what I'm wearing. Just a, simple button up, some slacks, If you can dress up jeans, by all means do that, but nothing serious, just a casual brunch, if you will, you know, like a business casual brunch, so to speak. And then, much like the attire, you're gonna have a plethora of different conversations when you're going into a lounge. That's the beautiful thing about cigars and this culture in particular, is that you can have conversations with people that you'll know more about them in 7 minutes of smoking next to them than people do in 7 months of knowing them. So really the idea is just being open to that conversation. If you want to just be in a corner, smoke a cigar with your laptop, doing some emails, by all means, but definitely be open to the conversation at hand, because this is one of those arenas that, I don't know, very much encourages that, you know, idea melding between people that, you know, are strangers to you, friends. A cigar and the time that you share with it encourages you to be present in that moment and to pay attention to what's happening around you. You know, you're here because, one, you want to taste the most out of your cigar, so you're going to be present for it, but then also for the environment that you're around. So just being open to that and receptive to that, highly encouraged, because you'll get more out of your smoke and your time here at the Cigar Cellar. You see how this is smoking beautifully, rounded out perfect. You can see I touched it up a little bit, and that might happen here and there. Just retouching your smoke, making sure it burns even. But just so this doesn't fall in my lap or in the lounge, I'm just gonna roll it off like I showed you before, and I will check back in with you guys once we get past the band here. A lot of people think this is where you're done, and at the end of the day, of course, as I always say, this is your smoke to enjoy, but if you're smoking it right and it's going even the entire way, this is actually good stuff. You could just remove the band right here and keep going along, because again, if you're smoking your cigar evenly the whole way, this is actually going to mellow out a lot more. You're pulling that smoke through and through, so really you're just marrying all those flavors that you got from the very beginning all the way down to the end. So for me, this cigar started out a lot stronger. It's a darker shade, so it will give you that, but here I'm getting way more of a medium body to even mild smoke, because I pulled all that through, and luckily we had a great burn on this one. So again, you're just marrying all those flavors together for a nice finish here. But again, to each his own. If you don't feel like burning your fingertips to keep your cigar alive, by all means, you can put it out, but you're just simply resting it right there, and you're gonna let it simmer out just like we talked about before, and that's perfectly fine, you know, to leave it as such. At the end of the day, it's your smoke, but I'm gonna enjoy this one just a little bit longer. All right, so this is a little bit of a pro move here, but I'm going to take this poker, or toothpick if you have one, just kind of give me a little hold there on the nub. This way you don't burn your fingers while you're enjoying your last couple puffs here. But for future videos, if you guys have any questions on anything we covered today, feel free to leave that in the comments down below. We'll address it in the next video. And be sure to subscribe so we can answer those comments in the next video. But, great smoke. I'm gonna be here to finish this off, but as always, ask those questions in person too. Come check us out. Mike and I are great people. We're a good hang, good time to smoke and enjoy the conversation. But as always, guys, see you in the next one. Come check us out.